So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off.
What's up, everybody? Excuse me, it is Johnny back in here today. Guys, great video for you today. 36 questions that women have for men. So grab your popcorn, boys. This is, well, it should be interesting. I'm gonna just take a guess here that it won't take long before the shaming starts. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into this one.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
Fantastic. You mean the ex-president? You mean the multi-millionaire, if not billionaire? Real estate? Yeah. Feels good. It feels good. Also, we didn't make it long before the shaming language started, guys. I don't know if you know that or caught that, but that was an attempt to shame men for what another man did. So, fair use, BuzzFeed, you know the rules.
Why do you hate rom-coms?
Well, one, nothing is funny about romance, and quite frankly, nothing at all is funny about romantic comedies. Also, a lot of women, you may not know this, but most of you are not funny, not even slightly.
You just feel like you need to hate them.
Everybody likes The Notebook. Everybody likes Beyonce.
No. In fact, this goes back to the romantic comedy thing. You got to understand the idea of a rom-com or romance novels or any of this other stuff is a pretend fantasy world that women like to indulge in that is not rooted in the reality, the harshness of this world that we actually live in. That's why it's like playing pretend and dress up in dolls almost, without realizing that there's a tire fire outside of your house burning everything around you. It's somewhat childish to not think about the actual reality of life while pretending that everything is hunky-dory and glorious. And Beyonce, come on, really?
It's just a fact.
Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies?
Why do we make women sit around? I'm not sure that's us doing that. I don't remember any men requesting that, and it certainly hasn't come up at any of the meetings.
Y'all easily just sit around and talk about boobs for hours.
Well, you see, we're allowed to do what we want to without you having a say in it or dictating how we behave. Believe it or not, you're not every man's mother, women.
Why do you automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead?
Why?
Well, TV and movie in general is garbage. Most of it is woke and trash, quite frankly. And a female lead doesn't interest most men, believe it or not. It's not the type of movie that most men like. There's not a lot of action, and when there is, it's fake, extremely fake. You know, when the 115-pound female superhero, you know, throws around the 300-pound man that's twice her size, 3 times her size, it's not believable, quite frankly.
Are you surprised when women are funny?
Women are not funny. No offense, ladies, this is my personal opinion. This is all just, women are not funny. They're just not. I can think of a couple of occasions where women were funny, but it was never in an attempt to be funny during a show, sitcom, or movie. It was always in real life, real women hanging out who said some things that I might have chuckled at. But for the most part, not funny.
Probably funnier than you.
Why do you think that we're obsessed with you when we hook up?
When we hook up. That's the problem. It's not that we think you're obsessed with us. It's that when your attitude is hook up, you're not interesting. You're a 304. Sorry.
9 times out of 10, I just want you to leave too. I'm busy. I got shit to do.
Why? I cannot sleep with as many people as I want to without being judged.
Well, you can sleep with as many people as you want to, but you'll be judged for it in the same way that if you were a bank robber, you would go in front of a courtroom and be judged. This is how life works. There are consequences for your actions, and people will look down on you if you do things that are considered genuinely bad. And sleeping with a lot of people as a woman is a bad thing. You're supposed to be setting an example for younger women. But, you know, that's how we have a productive, good quality society, whereas your current behaviors are leading us down a road that is, well, quite frankly, unfixable.
When men do it,
Just because men do things doesn't mean women should do the same things. There are things that women do that men should also not do. This is the way of the world. This is how it works. You know, this is just life in general. Everything isn't an equal fest where you say, well, this person does this, therefore this person should get to. No.
congratulate it.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates, but a
Well, it's not that she's a tease, it's that she's a usury person. She likes to use men for attention and validation without giving men anything that men want. You see, there should be an equal trade-off in any good relationship, business partnership, anything. Everything should be a symbiotic relationship where one hand washes the other. You know what I mean? Without that, it's just you getting what you want, validation, time, energy, money spent on you on dates and free meals, and while you provide nothing that the man is interested in. Believe it or not, we're not interested in the romantic comedy and the sitting there and having pointless, benign conversations.
slut if she sleeps with you on the first date?
In what world does no mean yes?
No means no.
Why do you say that women are too emotional to be leaders?
Then
Because your emotions run you, and this is a bad trait to have as a leader. If you can't have a calm, cool head and react and respond to things with no emotion, a simple reality-based reaction that is rooted in a somewhat seemingly cold and callous way that is based in logic and reason, you can't be a leader because you're too emotional.
justify catcalling by saying men just can't control themselves.
We don't say that. We don't care about that. We just catcall if we feel like catcalling because it's a free world, it's a free country. Men can actually say, hey, beautiful, and this is acceptable. And you can hate it if you want, and you can get mad and whine and complain, quite frankly. And it's still just going to be men doing what men want to do because men are not controlled by women. You don't get to dictate who we are, how we behave. In fact, the idea of that, quite frankly, is somewhat oppressive and not based in equality. Women. You have to learn to accept people for who they are, whether they're gay, straight, trans, or even if it's a straight man who happens to call out to a beautiful woman. You have to make your peace with it.
Why do you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my body?
You don't owe anybody anything, and believe it or not, you have every right to say no, and every man has the right to say, well, I'm done with you. There's no point in talking to you because you know what I'm interested in, and if you're not interested, that's okay and acceptable. You have no further value to me.
Why would you ever send an unsolicited dick pic?
Why do you feel like it's okay to harass women or make offensive comments about women, but
No one's harassing women, I don't think, really. I mean, like I said, a man might catcall a woman sometimes, but she can easily just ignore it and keep walking. Women often, even in this video, proving the point, will interject their thoughts, feelings, and emotions into what men do. I mean, you're doing it right now. It's really not that different.
when somebody does it to your sister, it's not okay?
How does it feel to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of making
What? I'm sorry, I wasn't here. I wasn't listening to
a
you.
point
What? You said something?
during a meeting?
Why do you have to sit with your legs so wide open?
Because we have balls and a dick, and we can think for ourselves and be our own free people without you. This is the problem women don't understand. You want to dictate how men sit? Are you out of your mind?
I get that you have balls, but I don't stand around with my
Who cares what you do? Stop comparing yourself to us. We're not the same.
arms wide open to make room for my boobs.
Who cares? Who cares what you think? You're irrelevant to us. Irrelevant. And the reason is because you've made yourself that way. We don't dictate your actions and what you're doing for the most part, and most of the time we don't care, unless you're being a 304, at which point we find that disgusting. But quite frankly, how you sit is very little of our concern.
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex?
Because you're physically weaker. Scientifically, mathematically, statistically, you're physically weaker. Your bones are not as dense or as hard. You're not as strong. And you run off emotions, and emotions by definition make you weaker because you lack the ability to be cold and callous and operate out of a place of logic. That's weaker.
Even though we literally birth you.
That doesn't matter. Okay, you go through something for about 9 months of your life. Men struggle daily, every day for most all of their life. Congratulations.
Like watermelons through like this.
Yep, and that's 1 day of your life. Congratulations, you did something.
Why is it so bad to show your emotions?
Emotions are pointless. Emotions are mentally a bad thing for human beings. When you show your emotions to other people, it's like throwing a temper tantrum as a child and saying, I feel this way, therefore everyone must look in my direction. Everyone must bow down to my feelings. Everyone must behave in a way that I think they should behave because I'm having a hissy fit. It's very, very selfish and childish. And your emotions are supposed to be your emotions. That's why they're your emotions. It should be a fairly private thing. You know, if you get very emotional and need help, talk to your mother, talk to a friend who's a female, men have emotions as well, but we don't always run around operating off of them and forcing our emotions onto other people because it's childish and selfish.
It means you're human.
Why are you always trying to prove your masculinity to me?
We're not trying to prove anything to you. We're just being ourselves, and you can't stand it because we're not acting in a way that you think we should act, but that's because you're control freaks.
Why the f isn't it ladylike to cuss? When did words get gendered?
Why
Cuss all you want to, women. All we see it as is a red flag. You're not classy.
is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
I don't doubt any of those women, not even in the slightest. But if you want to get real and stop making everything about yourself as women, you need to really think about the statistics and get out of your emotions. The statistics are true. Men are raped at a greater rate worldwide than women are. Absolutely. Guess who rapes them? Other men. If you factor in the prison population throughout the world, men are actually raped at an alarming rate higher than women are. But men aren't running around complaining about it and trying to make it your problem and your fault and It's a brutal world out there, girls. I'm not saying that anyone deserves it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that men get raped more than women do. Make your peace with it.
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising?
Because it's fake. It's not how you actually look. It's somewhat of a scam, quite frankly.
We can say the same thing about your dick size.
Why?
No, you can't. Not really. And we don't care what you say, actually. So, whatever. We don't complain about that and whine about that. But you seem to.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making
Oh, good. I was hoping someone would make this racist for no reason.
legislation about what I can and can't do with my...
Why is it you're trying to decide what men do? Why is it you're trying to decide how men sit? Why is it you're trying to make this video to shame men for being who they are as a person? I mean, you're literally doing the same thing while complaining. The difference is those are elected officials, and they're not all white men. If you look statistically, many of them are women. There are many black men in there as well. But they're not trying to make it a victimization contest, as you are. The fact is, you are not in control, and you can't stand that. Other men that are black are in control also. Other women that are black, white, Asian are also in Congress making rules and laws and decisions. But the fact is, the control is not in your hands, and you hate that because you want power and you want control. You want to dictate how other people live. And it's obvious in this video.
body.
Do you have a coochie?
Why are straight guys so obsessed with lesbians?
Well, we're not really obsessed with lesbians, quite frankly. Sexually, it can be a little hot sometimes if they're attractive, but that's rarely the case.
Does it feel to get kicked in the balls?
Do you ever get tired of trying to be manly all the time?
No, because it's not something we try to do. We just do it. It's not even a thought, really. You just be who you are, and it just seems to bother people for some reason who can't accept you for who you are, which is ironic since you can accept everyone else for being who they are. gay, straight, lesbian, pan, omni, whatever, all of the other individual groups out there. I don't want to leave anyone out. You can accept men for who they are, but you can accept everyone else. Why is that, ladies? And how is that equality, by the way?
Times. Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
Why?
We're not. It doesn't concern most of us at all. We don't care. We're not the ones whining and complaining about it.
Why do I deserve to be paid less than you?
You don't, and you haven't been since the 70s, but you continue to babble the same parroted information as if you know something. But you don't. You don't take the dangerous jobs. You don't take the hard jobs. You don't go down and clean out the sewers. Men typically take those jobs. You take air-conditioned office jobs with a business degree making $40,000 a year. Congratulations, you made those decisions.
In what world does 77 cents equal a dollar?
In what world does 68 cents equal a dollar?
So is it 77 or is it 68 cents? Also, you don't put in as many hours as men do. You don't work as hard as men do, and you typically tend to stand around and complain and whine about the work that's being done by other people. You do that.
How is that fair?
Why are you intimidated by a woman who makes more money than you?
We're not. We could care less. We just don't want anything to do with her because women are hypergamous by nature, and they typically don't respect men who make less than them. So it's not that we're intimidated, it's that we literally could care less about that woman.
That's awesome. More money.
Why are opinionated women seen as bitches?
Because we don't want your opinion. How about that? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever stopped to think that maybe your opinion is your opinion and shouldn't dictate the outcomes of the entire world based on the fact that you had a thought? Your opinion is your opinion. We could care less.
When opinionated men are seen as bosses.
Why?
Well, bosses, opinionated men, don't have time to sit and listen to every single opinion of every random Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo on the planet. We have things to do. And in the real world, getting those things done is more important than sitting around listening to your feelings.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
A lot of those jokes are really funny. I don't think you understand how humor works, but sometimes satire and the forbiddenness of a particular joke makes it funnier for some reason. I don't know why that is either, but it's true.
Why are you so afraid of recognizing your own privilege?
I don't know what privilege you're talking about. In fact, I think that you don't know what privilege you're talking about. I'm a man. I happen to be a white man, even though I don't typically brag on that or make things about race, but I guess that's because I'm a white man. But I've been broke, homeless, barely making it many times, struggled throughout my life to even exist. Where's this privilege and when does it start? Because I could really use some of it.
Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Just recognize it and do something about it.
Wow, guys, just wow. It's amazing that we don't let these people be leaders. And I don't say that to be, callous, because quite frankly, we don't decide. People don't come ask us. Women, understand that men aren't actually in control of everything, don't want to be in control of everything, and aren't holding you back in any way. But you are whining and complaining at an alarming rate. Anyways, guys, I'm Gone with John. Leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. Hit like, hit subscribe. We'll see you next time.